everybody, welcome to the PowerCast, live with you every Tuesday night. In the show, we have Eric Vasquez to your right, my left-hand side. A very exciting show. The man, the myth, the legend, Eric Vasquez. We have a very special guest, a guy who's been known in the real estate industry as a mortgage broker for many, many years. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Nick Kaszei, also known as Nick Kaszei. A very nice guy, super smart. We're going to drill him with questions, and if you have any questions out there about getting a mortgage, anything to do with buying a house, do not hesitate. Please put your hand up, send the questions in, we'd love to answer them for you. So, Nick, thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me. I'm
Absolutely.
excited about this. This is exciting.
We want to make sure everybody knows how to get in touch with us and find us every week. We have many places to find us. First one is going to be YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in Team Powerhouse Real Estate, hit subscribe, and then make sure you watch us every week. We also have a replay on Saturdays. You're gonna have a new edited version of this, very cool. And now we're doing some shorts every week as well. A little 3 to 5 minute short on the podcast that we've been doing, and some edited questions, yada, yada, yada. Check us out on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Google Podcasts. You have, let me help me out over here, Spotify. We have Apple Podcast, Anchor. We are in so many different places. We are on Twitch.
That's it?
Just a couple to start with, all right? So if you guys want us to be somewhere that you haven't found us yet, let us know. We'll make sure we're there as well. Every week, live with you. Very excited to have you. Nick, awesome to be with you today. So Nick Kaszei, also known as Nick Kaszei, is with Cardinal Financial Mortgages, an amazing company. You're going to learn a lot about over here, but let's first get to know Nick a little bit better himself. Nick, where you from, buddy?
So, where am I from? I'm born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio. Wow.
Yeah,
Did not know that.
Yeah, Cuyahoga County. Yeah.
Very
So,
cool.
born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. From where I'm living now in Shelton, Connecticut. So,
Before Shelton? So you went from Cleveland to where?
so
just
Cleveland to
landed-
Milford, but
Okay.
now I'm in Shelton.
Excellent. Very cool.
Well, Cleveland to Shelton to Milford to Shelton. So
Excellent.
technically Shelton twice.
And you are married?
Married, yep, 2 kids.
What's your wife's name?
Natalie.
Natalie, what a beautiful name. You know what's funny? My first crush was a Natalie.
Yeah.
Beautiful
It's a
name.
good name.
Probably a beautiful girl, just saying.
Yes, very.
And you have children?
Yes, 2 beautiful little girls. Yeah.
How old are they?
3 and 1. Hands
Natalie,
full.
thank you so
Great.
much for letting him be here today. Hopefully you're watching the show, and don't hesitate to reach out and have questions for us as well. All right, Nick.
Is Natalie from Cleveland?
She's from Shelton.
She's from Shelton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
When did you come here?
Came here in 2016. 2016.
From,
Or no, 2016.
From Cleveland.
From Cleveland, yeah.
Okay.
Cleveland Browns fan?
Die Hard.
Die
Die
Hard.
Hard Browns, Indian, or Guardians now.
No, Indians.
And Cavaliers.
Steelers.
Yeah.
Big Steelers fan. All right. So my next question is, where'd you go to school? You went to school in
I
Cleveland.
went to school in Cleveland, Padua Franciscan High School.
So all your friends who are watching you here today, you want to give them a shout out?
Yeah, what's going on?
Anybody special you grew up with, you want to say, oh my God, this is the guy, I'm going to make sure you say hi to.
Not really. No,
No?
they know who they are, so.
Awesome. You're not going to stick anybody out. Probably have some interesting memories there in Cleveland.
Yeah, too many. Too many good ones. Too many good ones.
Where'd you go to college?
Marist College. So that's where I met my wife, Natalie. Yeah.
Great school.
Marist College.
And Marist College is in?
Poughkeepsie, New York.
Very good school. And what did you major in there?
I was a psych major. So a people person.
That makes 2 of us psych
Yeah,
majors.
People person.
Do you know what? Psychology, I tell people all the time, is the most foundational major you can major in when it comes to working with people. Right?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Dealing with people on a daily basis, understanding their emotional and physical feelings
Yeah.
that they're thinking about, what they're going through.
Different personalities. all that,
100%, man. That's very cool stuff. And what was your first job out of college?
yeah. Was doing mortgages.
Is that right?
Yeah, so 22 years old I started in
Right out
Cleveland.
the gate?
Yeah, in Cleveland.
Wow.
Believe it or not. Yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
what did you say?
I said right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
impressive.
So I started at Quicken Loans.
No
Doing,
kidding.
strictly refis because
Wow.
it was a refi center there when I started. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's very good to know. So how did you get into mortgages? Basically, what was
Well, I just knew. So I played football in college at Marist and
What position?
safety.
the
Yeah,
nice.
safety was a lot of fun. We had a good time. but I knew, so contacts just through people, right?
Yes.
That's kind of what it's all about. People, it's not always what you know, it's who you know too. So
100%.
a buddy from mine that went to school, met him, and he was working at Quicken Loans, and he brought me over, and I was like, let's just try, let's see what this is all about. So I had to take my licensing and testing and all that stuff. So right out of school, and it was no better way to take a test after college, right? You've already done it. So
Hold on
That
a
is
second.
true.
Strong or free?
free.
Free. Okay.
Football.
Yeah.
Eric's a big football guy,
Yeah.
AKA Steelers fan, if I may say so still, and also a big advocate of knowledge in football, let's just say that. Is that
Well,
fair
I
to say?
didn't play college football, but
You didn't have to play college football.
No,
You know what's
still
funny?
know the game.
Some of the guys who are the most knowledgeable people
Yeah.
in football never played the game, but are educated from a sideline standpoint of different plays and decisions. As a matter of fact, let me ask you a question.
You're
Eric.
probably smarter than some of the people I played with, to be honest with you. When it comes to
it's
football.
possible.
When it
It's
comes to
possible.
football, yeah.
But in football, sidebarring over here for a second, like how many coaches actually played football versus not played football today?
A lot.
Yeah.
Did play or didn't
A
play?
lot played.
A lot.
A lot
Yeah.
played, but there's some good ones
A
that
lot
didn't
played.
play.
Some of the best coaches never played.
Yeah.
That's my point, though, right? So like,
Like, I don't know, the new rock, Tom Landry never played football,
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, I had two coaches that never played football in college, and they were awesome.
Yeah.
Like, just knew the game.
No, well,
Like,
some
movie-
coaches are motivators.
Yeah.
They're more motivational than anything. They're not really too deep into the X's and O's.
Yeah,
and
you always
stuff like
want to
that.
have people with experience, but at the same time.
so from football to mortgages,
Yeah.
right? The game is on.
Yeah.
And in this game of mortgages, there's a lot to learn for buyers, for agents, for the whole world out there.
Hold on, before we get any further, any football or mortgage questions out there?
Anybody has
No.
any questions? While we're in the conversation of football, we could always ask those questions, of course. But if you have any questions about mortgages, more importantly, let them fire out, because no matter who you are, no matter where you are in the business, in the process, if you bought a house before, if you haven't bought one before, you want to get a mortgage, you want to know the process, ideas, this is the guy you want to ask questions to, so you don't hesitate. We have people in the background over here. We have Thane, we have Jamie, we have Jonathan helping us out today, and we're excited to have them here as well. All right, so how long have you been a mortgage broker for?
So 8 years, it would be 8 or 9 years. So 2015, I graduated in 14, June of 2014, then got the job in June of 2000. So yeah, I mean, geez, 9 years.
But then I'm going to tell you about this guy right here, because 9 years in the business, he's probably done more mortgages than people have done it in 20 years. You're not just a mortgage broker who's been in the business 8 years. You got, how many loans would you say you've done in the last 8 years? And I'm putting you on the spot. I didn't prepare these questions for you. Or how many do you think you do a year? How about that on average?
Well, I mean, again, the last 2 years, as you know, has been crazy. But
Yes.
on average, I would say 100, 125.
That's
right?
quite a bit. That's a lot of mortgages for someone to do per year.
Yeah.
That's close to
Per year.
1,000 mortgages you've done in the last 8 years. That would
Probably,
make
yeah.
you pretty knowledgeable in this business. And in the last 8 years, you've seen a lot happen,
Crazy.
All right.
A lot happened. Every day you learn something new.
which makes you even more educated, because you've seen from here to here to here in this business and how it's progressed. And you have to learn how to adapt to different challenges. People who've been in the business who have been in for 20 years ago, right, was way different than today. Go ahead.
I bet you, no, I was just gonna say, I bet you the guys that have been in the business 25, 30 years will say that they've either learned more or have experienced more in the last 2-3
No
years
doubt
than they
about
have in the previous 20, 25 years.
Absolutely. And that they're still doing it and able to function doing it and understand how fast things move.
Yeah.
With the laws and regulations and all different kind of things.
Every
that are
week
happening.
something changes.
Uh-huh.
Every week. And every day I feel like you learn something.
Right.
Just from a unique situation.
So the company you work for is Cardinal Financial.
Yeah.
Tell us about Cardinal Financial. Who are Cardinal Financial?
Yeah, so Cardinal Financial, we're a direct lender. And so what that means is we're funding our own money, right? So it's not a broker necessarily, but we can broker out different deals if we have to, right? If we have to get the job done, we'll broker it out. But a direct lender, so we're not a bank, we're not a brokerage. There's no middleman with us. It's just directly through us. Our own underwriting, processing, all that's done through Cardinal Financial. And we also are a servicer, so
Oh, wow.
something that's been new to what I'm used to doing, right? I mean, I've never had a mortgage company that I work with that services a loan.
Servicing a loan means
So we hold the mortgage, so you're making payments to Cardinal Financial, so
Which
you're,
is huge.
Which is huge for multiple reasons, right? I mean, you're gonna be, my picture goes out on the closing statement every month that they get, or not even closing statement, the billing statement that they get. And if they have mortgage questions, if they are looking to refinance, if they're looking to buy another house, my face is in their face at all
so
times.
they
So
either
it's nice.
love or hate you very much.
Yeah, so that's why it's key to be good at what you do and know what you're doing, because otherwise it can
Right.
be very bad for
But
you.
your information is there every time they have to make
Every
a
time,
payment,
yeah.
right? They have questions about, you just said, refinancing in the future. Things are happening wild and crazy in this market here now, so it's important to understand while the rates are high, the good and the bad is if you can afford a house today, you're gonna be able to afford a house a lot more later on because the rates are gonna come down, and then you'll refinance and basically get like a little increase in your pay every month because your mortgage payment is less.
Yeah,
Now, where's Cardinal based out of?
North Carolina.
No
North
kidding.
Carolina, believe it or not, yeah. So we have like a tri-state area branch, right? New Jersey, New York, Connecticut. We are actually the first Connecticut branch that opened up just in January.
Which speaks volumes of you and your team.
To put the
because
trust in us, yeah.
Right, in order for them to be able to say, we're gonna open a branch up with these guys, they are a group of people who are really educated in this business because they're backing you and you're backing them.
Yeah.
And that just, again, exemplifies who Nick and his team are when it comes to mortgages.
Yeah.
Let's go into where are they based out of. We talked about, what is your favorite part about being in this business?
That's a great question. I mean, there's so much to it, right? The biggest thing I think is allowing people, I mean, this is going to sound corny, but giving the people to live the American dream. I mean, really, to own a house is like crazy, right? When I was getting out of college, it's like there's no way, you know, you got student loans, you're never thinking you're going to buy a house. When you do, it's that exciting. And when you get, again, my business is all based off of referrals. So when you help somebody get into a house that they never thought they would get into or didn't even realize they could afford, there's nothing more rewarding than them, you know, just thanking you. It's the
Speaking
thank
your
you
name.
goes, yeah, just talking to you, giving your name out to other people like, hey, he really helped me out, you know. So that, in my eyes, is my favorite part, is just getting that thank you. Like, you helped me do something I never thought I was going to be able to do.
Is there a question up there, Jamie? Or?
Okay. And again, guys, if you have any questions out there regarding mortgages, the process, what's involved in it, maybe you're looking to buy a house, maybe you're looking to refinance a house, any questions along those lines, please feel free to reach out to us. We got Instagram, we got Twitter, we got Facebook over there, YouTube. I think your wife might be watching us today.
I think so. If
She
she's
might
not
even have
picking-
a question
If she's
also.
not picking up the kids, I know.
If she's not picking up the kids,
Yeah.
of course, too. Let's go to the next question. How long does it take to fill out a mortgage application for a buyer?
Yeah, so it depends on how they want to do it, right? I mean, we could do it in person, which could take a little bit longer, right? You're getting to know each other, you're having little side conversations.
Yes.
Or, which could take about 30 minutes, right? Not even.
Right.
We could do it over the phone. Again, that could take 15 minutes, not even. Or they can do an online application, which could take 20 minutes, right? So relatively, it's not long at all, by any means.
Very commonly, what we do as agents is we talk about Nick, what an amazing guy is, how he's going to take great care of you, introducing you as the person of knowledge and expertise and comfort. We send you an email with his information. You click on a link, and then from there it takes you to the mortgage application. So when it comes to a mortgage application, you know, some of the questions they ask are probably name, date of birth,
Yeah, just
social.
the basics, right? We want to get an idea of what your income looks like, what your credit looks like, what debt you have on the credit report, getting an idea what you have in the bank for assets and all that type of stuff, right? So it doesn't take, it's basic information that you'll know where you don't have to kind of dig in and like look for documents or anything like that.
Speaking of documents, let's talk about those because depending on the kind of mortgage you're getting may depend on what kind of documents you may need for getting a mortgage.
Yeah.
So what kind of documents are involved in getting a mortgage?
Pretty simple. I mean, W-2 would depend on type of work, right? If you're self-employed, and tax returns are involved, right?
Yes.
And then, but if you're just a W-2 employee, hourly employee, W-2s, pay stubs, bank statements.
How many, now each mortgage may be different, or maybe I'm not correct in saying this correctly, but as far as the kind of mortgage you go to, how many years W-2s do you typically need for a buyer?
Typically 2 years, so just the last 2 years.
Except if they're coming out of college, got a job,
Yeah.
so they don't have the W-2s, how does that work?
You can just get an offer letter. So if you got a job and you're just like, hey, an offer letter, here it is, I'm making $60,000 a year. We can use that, right?
That's pretty
Nice.
amazing
Yeah.
stuff. So like you come out of college, you're thinking, how am I going to be able to buy a house? I mean, I just got my first job. I haven't even got my first paycheck yet. Can I buy a house? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Having that offer letter, you're going to have at least one bank statement, one pay stub or two
Yeah, it
before.
was typically, as long as you're gonna have one pay stub to just make sure that it's legit, right?
Right,
I
of
mean,
course.
just because you're not drawing up in today's world, right?
Yes.
Somebody could draw up an offer letter if
Yes.
they wanted, but typically one pay stub to show that it's legit. But so it's not like you need multiple 6 months of pay stubs. No.
So we have possible W-2s for 2 years typically. If they've been out of work, been in work for 1 year, so 1 year W-2s will work if they,
Yeah.
or they just come into the business.
Offer letter,
Offer
you know,
letter.
pay stub, something like that.
Bank statements,
Bank statements, yeah,
Now-
typically 2 months.
2 months bank statements, and that would be like one cycle when I say 2 months. Is that 2 cycles?
60 days.
60
days.
days.
Worth, if it could be a transaction history, a 60-day transaction history.
And sometimes you may be buying a house with a significant other, and that person may or may not have separate bank accounts. So depending where all the money is being held,
It could be in multiple accounts, right? Which, you know, makes it a little bit more documentation wise that
Right.
you got to collect. But again, if it's all in one account, then it's just 60 days. But if it's different accounts, and you just give us different
60
accounts
days each
yeah,
account, basically.
yeah.
Okay. And when you have the money to buy a house, we need to make sure that house money is not under a mattress.
Or a safe, yes.
That money needs to be somewhere where it's documented. So, like for example, if you have money now that's in the mattress or safe area, you need to start putting that money into the bank. Is that
Yes.
fair to say that out
Yeah,
loud?
season
Are we
for
legally
6
allowed to talk about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, season for 60 days. I tell my clients it's a season for 60 days. If you're looking to buy a house, start putting in the account now because, again, you might not find a house for 60 days, but by that time, it's already seasoned.
And all that money that you have in the safe or under your mattress probably is money you worked and made money from a job, right? But you felt like maybe you couldn't trust the bank to put the money there because your grandparents did the same thing. But the difference is today you have to have that money seasoned.
Yeah, and the reason for that, yeah, just because the most common thing that we see on the mortgage side that people don't realize is large deposits, right? And 25% of your income, which kind of screws up the mortgage process. Like they're like, oh, here's the bank statements. We have 60,000 in the bank. We get an offer accepted. We see the bank statements. Like, there's 3 large deposits here. What's going on?
20,
there?
20,
yeah,
20, right.
like, what's
Where's
going
this
on?
gonna come
here?
from? Exactly
yeah,
right.
So that's one of the most common things we see people, you know, that causes somewhat of a not an issue, but questions that the lenders are going to bring up. the underwriters,
Verification.
yeah.
I've heard before people have to go back and get those copies of checks from a wedding. You just got married, right? You
Yeah.
got all this money, cash, you got checks, and you're
Yeah.
shoving it all into the bank because you're excited. How does that work?
Well, it's the same thing, right? I mean, as long as you can document it, that's what we say. As long as there's a paper trail,
Yes.
we're okay. But like again, weddings, some people give you cash, so
Yes.
you got to put that in. We're going to ask for what was this large cash deposit?
Can we
But-
say that Grandpa Joe and Grandma Sue, they gave us this money? Do they have to go back and ask for their bank statements at all, or are you going to be okay with the cash deposit?
Well, that would be a gift, right? If someone's going to gift you that, then you're okay with that. Then you just get a gift letter, and your grandmother or whoever is going to write you a gift, letter, a gift amount, whatever the
More
amount is.
people today than ever before are getting gifts, and it's important to be thankful for those gifts because those gifts are a gift from those people who love and care about you, that's saving money that special day for you to buy a house.
Yeah.
And if you have that opportunity to get a gift from somebody, you want to make sure the process of getting that gift is done correctly. So just go back for a second into a gift letter, what's involved in that.
Yeah, so we always tell people don't do it before you talk to the mortgage for us.
Don't
right?
take the money until you speak to Nick.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
way he can make sure that grandma, grandpa, sister, brother, whoever that person is.
Yeah, because there's a right way that we want to do it so it's less documentation, less worry, less questions, right? For
Now,
the
if
underwriters.
Uncle Joey, right, from New York, right, wants to give you a good 50 G's,
Yeah.
right, does that money need to come a certain way? By
Depends
way of
on what type of
suitcase?
loan, right? Depends on what type of loan.
New
Yes.
Yorker sucks.
Conventional is different than FHA and VA, but
Right.
depending on it, sometimes you don't, FHA, you want to see it in his account for 30 days.
Yes.
Conventional, technically don't need to see it in his account, right?
I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, no,
You
no,
started
you're
right
good,
away.
you're good,
Oh,
you're
I'm
good.
sorry.
No, you're
He's
good. It's
getting
just there's
verklempt.
there's different. We could dive into that. Like there's so many different ways to approach that.
Yes.
You just want to handle it the right way.
The answer is you need to speak to
Speak
Nick
to us, yes.
before you start making any
Yeah.
kind of moves.
So question, is only a bank account count as assets?
No, so you can pull out of your 401k,
Good question.
retirement.
Okay,
You know,
and
whatever.
what if somebody says, well, I don't have a lot of cash, but I can be liquid where I can, let's say I can sell some of my stocks or bonds or something like that.
As long as it's all paper trail, right? So
Okay.
as long as you can do that, crypto is now something you were talking about,
Yeah,
right?
crypto.
We've seen some of that, right? As
Absolutely.
long as you have a statement, it's all paper trail, we're able to do it, right? It's just, again, cash on the mattress, just.
Cryptocurrency is going to be, I think, a big play in this over the next couple of years. Personally, we haven't got involved into crypto. We're going to get more people on the show about crypto. We can have some fun with crypto as well. If you have a question about crypto, you want to bring somebody out about crypto, we'll get crypto out in here also. But, and we'll go back to Nick, sorry.
I heard crypto again, I swear. I heard crypto 6 times in that statement.
Yep.
So, Nick, the whole idea is to make sure you're prepared correctly so we don't make mistakes that we're going to have later on that's going to be a disaster
Yeah.
because then it causes a pause or an impossibility to get a mortgage for at least a few months.
Yeah,
So having that money seasoned
it's big.
is big.
Yeah.
All right, great.
How much can you season over 60 days?
Good question.
As much as you want.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, but the banks have certain, right? Isn't it $9,999 you can only deposit, or then?
Well, that's why I was
we're
asking.
talking about a different
Doesn't the
world.
bank
So you-
have kind of like,
Yeah, so you typically want
triggers
to do
where
it like,
something comes
hey,
in,
every
right.
other, day or something like that. Because otherwise they're gonna think you're in money laundering, which is a whole different topic.
Right, exactly.
has
One of the
nothing
biggest
to do
things
with buying a house.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things about Nick that you need to know is how to get in touch with him. And I'm not sure if we have his contact information on the screen for you yet, but we're going to make sure that you have it. So let's make sure that everybody has your cell phone number. Now, what's great about Nick is he gives you his cell number to call him. You're not calling 1-800 number. You're not going to speak to 14 different people before speaking to Nick. You're going to get a cell number for him, and that's the difference between going to Nick and your bank. We as realtors let you work with mortgage brokers that actually give a cell number to you, build a relationship with you. You can pick them up and call them. You can text them.
morning, noon, and night,
And
and weekends.
Weekends, yeah, it does not matter. Again, we have to be available because
One of the biggest parts about us. Let's go with the phone number first.
Well, oddly enough, I reached out to Nick, what was it, about 4 weeks ago, and you just gotten off a plane.
yeah, it
I
was
think you're
Saturday.
in
It was
Florida.
Saturday. Yeah.
And he said, I said, he goes, what do you got going on? I said, well, I got blah, 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 blah. So, I think it was an hour and a half at a pre-approval from my folks, from Nick,
the
from
difference,
Florida.
Like the difference between, again, going with Nick as a mortgage broker, he's like your family member. So your brother, your sister, your best friend. He's the guy that's going to make this opportunity for you happen.
But you're not getting that from Rocket. And all the
Absolutely
other
not.
businesses.
No, again,
And
you
you-
have to be available, and texting I think is so easy and simple to where don't be afraid to reach out at any time. But people are like, oh, it's a weekend, but
I mean,
hey,
your wife is very sensitive to the situation.
She
as our
knows,
wives
yeah,
are too,
she
because
knows,
it's what
she
we do
knows.
for a job.
Yeah.
Let's go to your cell number, please. Let's get that out to everybody.
all right, 203
203
443
443
8025.
8025.
There's an echo in this room.
8025. And what about an email address for you?
It would just be Nick, so Nick dot Kaszei, KASZEI at cardinalfinancial.com.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And we need that repeated at all? Are we good? All right, beautiful. That should pop up
And-
on your screen.
And se habla español.
And say habla español.
But you have Spanish speaking.
We have Spanish speaking
You
as
have
well,
two,
yeah.
Vanessa
and Jose.
and Jose.
Yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Great team. This team is bar none one of the most impressive people ever meet in the mortgage industry.
I'm telling you this because we have a big following in Peru.
Yeah.
So
And we're licensed in,
Argentina, Peru, Mexico, we have a huge following.
we are licensed in all 50 states.
That's pretty
So I'm licensed in Florida and Connecticut, but my team, we have all 50 states if need be.
That's pretty amazing. So
Yeah.
if you're moving to Florida, if you're moving to Texas, you're moving to California,
when are you going to get your license in Florida?
we're going to work on that, Eric. You need to help me get that taken care of. I'm going to work on that slowly.
It's reciprocal. All you
It's
got to do is
definitely-
just take the test.
I've got to
It's
get
that
that.
easy.
I've got to get it
You don't have
done.
to take a class. All you got to do is take the test.
Coming to you soon, Dave in Florida
With a 10.
with a
With a
10. That being said, do you service your own loans? And you mentioned this before, actually.
Yeah. So we do service.
When it comes to servicing your loan, let's go into that a little more because I'm not sure if everybody really understands that. So basically, you are your own bank, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, so they make the payments to us, right? So it's not like it's not 2 months go by and then it's like you get a letter in the mail, oh, you're paying Chase now, or you're
Right.
paying, bank,
Or
bank
New
of
Reds
America,
or
the
whatever.
servicers.
I
out
have
there.
new
We're
res.
the
It's so funny you
servicer.
say that. It's funny because when you try to call, if I have new res or you call these companies, it's the worst experience in the world. You're calling up, you get this person, you get that person. It's like you get a bunch of chickens and take it to a rooster. How
And that's why they
frustrating
can
it is. You're
call
on hold
they,
forever.
Yeah, they can call me, and I just can. I mean, I'm not the servicing department, but I
Right.
can get you in contact quicker than
Right.
if you were to call.
All your
these other
resources
places.
are now your branch office. Now it doesn't matter where your branch office is, but your branch office is located where?
In Monroe.
In Monroe.
Yeah.
So what happens is everything basically is right there. All your machines, your computers, your all your information,
Team,
your
yeah,
team.
everybody.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So when you need something, you basically, hey Rachel, right?
Yeah,
Rachel's
the
around the
same
corner.
thing. Yeah, it's even with my processor, right? And even with underwriting, it's not. I don't have to email somebody and wait 24 hours. I pick up the phone, I Zoom message somebody, and they're getting back to us really quickly. So if I don't know the answer, right, I'll reach out to somebody that possibly does.
And now you've got every type of loan under the sun available to people. And let's. Oh,
Well, I was gonna ask that
Yes.
question, just real quick, if you could explain the difference between conventional, CHFA, and FHA,
Yeah.
and
So
VA.
yeah, so there's so many. I mean, USDA. We can go in.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
so many
USDA.
different types of loans.
Yeah.
Right? Conventional is a standard. The way you look at conventional is, it's all based off of everybody's profile, right? Everybody's application, right? They have good credit, good down payment, good money in the bank. You're probably going to give it a better rate, better program, better mortgage insurance on conventional than you would with FHA. And FHA is more so if you don't think you have the best credit, right? Don't be scared because we do credits up to 500. So that's
So wait a minute,
something-
just, he said it so quickly. He
Yeah.
does a credit. Now, everybody goes, I always ask a question, how's your credit? And the question is going to be either, oh, my credit's not so great. Well, what's not so great? Or what's really good? Or what's really bad? Nobody understands what that means. And to every different part of the industry, that could be different.
Yeah.
You go to get a car loan, what your credit is there versus buying a house is completely different.
Yeah, completely
So you can actually do a mortgage at 500 credit score.
Yeah.
Boom, mind blowing right there. 500 credit score. You have to be like,
I mean, there's compensating factors, right, with
Right.
every type of loan, but
You've gotta
we can do it.
good reasons for that 500 credit score, I'm guessing.
Yes, but we do see a lot. I mean, the biggest thing what we see on that is divorce, right?
I was
mean,
just gonna
that's
say
like the
divorce.
biggest thing you see when you have a lower credit. Like they just get in a bad spot or had a bad year, and it's like not that they don't qualify. They just got their credit got banged up in the divorce.
In the process,
yeah.
right. So 500 credit scores as a minimum would be an FHA purchase?
That would be FHA, yeah. So FHA is going to give you up to 620. So 620 and below, or I should say, 619 and below, technically, would be FHA.
So you can still do FHA above that though?
You can still do FHA but above that. You can go, if you have 800 credit, you can still do FHA. It's really just depends on what you're looking for. I mean, if you're looking for a lowest down payment, you could do potentially CHFA, which is down payment assistance.
Right.
You could do FHA, which is 3.5% down. Conventional, you could do 3%
Yeah,
down
you
as a
have three-
first-time home buyer.
So
yeah.
credit plays a role as to what kind of loan you're getting in, guys. If there's any questions you have, a great time to ask. But again, you can always reach out to Nick directly too if you have questions. I mean, we have a ton of people watching right now, and I don't want to miss anybody's questions, but don't feel free to always reach out to Nick later on as well. Going back into the mortgages, you just mentioned the FHA, CHFA, CHFA, and CHFA is FHA,
VA.
CHFA conventional.
USDA.
Yeah,
Right.
there's so much. I mean, there's so
USDA
many
is
programs.
no money down,
Yeah,
right?
it's in a you got to be a qualified area to do it, right? But
Right.
it's
Yeah.
still 0% down. I mean, there's different, and that's another thing, right? We could talk about this all day.
Right.
Yeah.
There's different debt to income ratios with those loans, right? Where FHA and VA can go higher, conventional is a little bit lower, and then
Yeah.
USDA is a little bit lower than that. But it's all based off of everyone's situation. So
You need to reach out to Nick,
Yeah.
ask the right questions, therefore you can have the right answers, and we will not have any kind of problems whatsoever.
yeah.
I'm not sure what that means. There was a little facial camera thing over here, but if there's a question out there, please ask it. And I have all these questions written down, trying to get through quickly. How many programs and products you have? We talked about that. how quickly can you refinance after buying a house?
So that's ties into servicing the loan, right? So because we service the loan, if you close on the house and 2 months or 3 months go by, we'll refinance it with
So
no
the rates,
cost.
all of a sudden, boom, the rates
Yeah,
come down.
with no cost.
You get a little money extra in your pocket, get a lower interest rate.
No cost, no
No
appraisal?
cost. No, well, the only out-of-pocket expense really would be the appraisal.
Right.
You still have attorney's fees. Connecticut's an attorney state, so you still have attorney's fees, you still have title fees, but that's rolled into the mortgage, right? So you really nothing out of pocket besides the appraisal. If depending on the time frame, you might not even have to have
I
one.
was just gonna
Yeah,
ask. I was
so
like,
it depends
you know,
on-
if it's 6 months later,
Yeah, you
can
might
an
not-
appraisal still be necessary
You
after
might not
6
have to
months?
have one depending on the file.
I have one last question before we end this, because it's
Yeah.
been flying by, and you're killing it
having
with the
fun.
information
It's
of it.
fun.
I'm having a great time. But you know, what happens is, I want these people to contact you directly. I want them to have a chance to build that relationship with you, because you are everything in this business, right? But what is the biggest misconception when buying a home? Do you have a question out there, over there? Is there a question?
No, just telling you I'm putting stuff out.
Okay. What is the biggest misconception when buying a home?
It's you have to have great credit, 20% down. You have to have excellent credit. You have to have
So
great
it's
money.
Not true.
It's not true. Again, you don't. Like I said, 500 credit scores. You can go up. You know, again, to on the VA sometimes it's 60% debt to income ratio. It really just depends. So you might be able to get into the house before you think, right?
Right.
Before you realize that, hey, you qualify for this mortgage. The biggest thing I tell people is just, if you have any questions, just call me. I'll tell you. It doesn't take me long. Again, 15 minutes to take an application to see what you qualify for. And people get so scared of that.
One of the most important things is, if you're planning on buying a house in the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months, or even longer, talk to him today, because what happens is most people have homework to do on their credit. And if you get yourself prepared in advance, getting yourself qualified, what's going to happen is you're going to be able to get your credit up and better before the time is right, giving you a better chance to get a better rate, better experience, and a much smoother process.
Yeah, but you also may be aware of programs that aren't out right
Yeah.
now, but are coming out like the summer,
Yeah.
like Time to Own.
Yeah, exactly.
Which will be refunded back in the summer, I think.
Correct, yeah.
That's a good
It
point.
depends, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also, again, we have credit repair people in place to where we can get if your credit is down and we need to get it to a certain level, we can get it there.
TikTok Nation, we know that you have a lot of people who need credit repair. Let's make sure you get in touch with Nick.
Why are you
Nick,
singling out TikTok Nation?
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
You said TikTok Nation, we know you have a lot of people who need
Because
credit repair.
I'm going to tell you something. It's funny you mentioned it, because we have a lot of young people that have gotten into the business of getting credit messed up. And a lot of people on TikTok are younger. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but a very realistic way. And then they have all these misconceptions of, oh, I'll go rent.
Yep.
Today the rent is an
crazy.
absolute
Yeah,
nightmare.
but they just, I think somebody passed a law somewhere where renting now counts with your credit score.
I haven't seen that on
Yeah.
the credit report.
Is that a new thing coming out?
I think so, yes. I don't know
I
if it
guess
was a
if they get-
state specific or if it's
Well,
a
maybe
national thing,
they've
but
got to
Like making
show.
on-time payments impacts your credit score.
yeah,
Well, they've also got to
Yeah.
show that
But how
they're
do you do that?
how they're
I
paying.
don't know.
Cash.
I don't know.
Right, how they're
Cash.
paying. If they're paying with check, if they're paying with Venmo, they're paying
Yeah.
with whatever they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know if the landlord's gonna have to report it to the credit bureaus or whatever, but
Ah, very good point.
there was something
The
that came out
landlords
a
are going to
couple
love
months ago on
that.
that.
Oh,
The
yeah.
landlords are going to
Yeah.
love that. All right,
Yeah.
everybody. Thank you for joining us, everybody.
Thanks for having
Our
me, guys.
best part of our show is the last part of the show, and you guys
What's left?
are no.
The end of the show is the best part of the
Well,
show?
it's not the best part.
No,
but it's
the
something-
guest is the best part
The
of the
guest
show,
is
but we
definitely
have a
the best
really
part.
cool part coming
I
up.
get it.
Well, with
Where
the
we
guests,
give away the mug?
they wait till the
The
end because they want to know
tumbler?
who's going to be the lucky winner of a brand new tumbler. You're actually going to tumbler just like this. They
this
come in.
water?
What's that?
Because you filled it up, I didn't
No, it's
trust you.
That's got water this
It's
time.
water?
yes.
I hope it's
You're gonna get the option of a fluorescent pink, hot pink, or black tumbler in this style right here. It's a beautiful tumbler made by Heather Knotts, creative crafts by Heather. And we're gonna go to the wheel right now and spin that wheel, and let's see who the winner's gonna be.
Right, you,
Winner of the wheel is
Is it spinning?
it is still spinning.
Okay, it's still spinning.
still
For some
spinning.
reason it is still spinning. Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
We're having a technical difficulty with the wheel. This must be a very special winner.
Every episode there's something.
It really wants us to decide. Alright, do the honors.
Astros .5776 -TT
From TikTok.
All right, TikTok.
Nice.
Astros, listen, make sure you reach out to us. You have our contact. You know how to get in touch with us. You can always email, text, or phone call. Here's my phone number just to reach out to me, 203-671-7062. Let's get you on the wheel so you can get a chance to win every week. Thank you so much for joining us every week. It's Tuesday night, having some fun over here. Nick Kaszei from Cardinal Financial Mortgage, Eric Vasquez,
Yeah.
the
Just-
legendary.
Just messing with the Browns and over here. That's all. So,
You guys got our number.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much for joining us again. We love having you guys every week. We love being a part of your lives. And remember, take this podcast, listen to the ride, share it with your friends and family. If you know somebody looking at a mortgage, this would be a great chance for you to introduce them to Nick Kaszei from Cardinal Financial Mortgage. Thank you guys, everybody, very much, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, buddy. Thank you.